Do you remember the first time you heard the term goddess?
I do. Um, I was reading Goddess Black Woman or The Goddess Black Woman by Akil. Um, yeah. What about you?
I actually don't recall the first time that I heard the term, but I do know that I just recently started using the term more consistently. But when I think about it, I do recall hearing the term when I was younger, like when we were referring to Greek gods and Greek goddesses, but I never really heard the term associated with Black women until just recently,
Mm-hmm.
like consistently. And that's not to say that people weren't calling Black women goddess, but that's just to say that just recent, I've been seeing it more and hearing it more and more.
Can't go out tonight. Getting in my bag. Oh, you mad? Do you wanna fight? Getting in my bag. Gotta tell you what the feeling like. Yeah, feel alright. Yeah, feel alright. I'm in my bag today.
You are now listening to Dear Goddess, the podcast, where we have candid, like real candid. I'm just joking. Conversations for her.
So, and we are your hosts, Imani Blaze of Simply Soul Sisters,
and Divine of Her Image. And Her Image is just all around virtual hub for Black women and girls to have an outlet to share their experiences, their brands, their stories with other Black women. You know, a platform that is for us, by us, written by us. We also host events and do a lot of other things. But tell them about Simply Soul Sisters, Imani.
So, Simply Soul Sisters, basically, we feel like being a goddess is pretty simple. You just have to know who you are. And you learn who you are by taking the journey within yourself and tapping into the divine being that is you. So, Simply Soul Sisters, we're basically here to help you stay grounded, balanced, and open to the messages that come from your spirit guides. So, we have all types of tools from sage to body wash, facial products, um, just everything to keep you protected on your spiritual walk.
Personally, what does it mean to you to be a goddess?
Great question. So, to me, being a goddess is first knowing that your body is sacred. It's home to your soul and the ancestor within you. So, you need to walk every day knowing that. That's just extremely important. And it's a lifestyle. It's just staying in your light, walking in your light, spreading your light, and staying connected to your higher power at all times.
Yes, Ashe. So for me, being a goddess is having knowledge of self. I always hear other people, well, I'll say religious people. I always hear religious people say, you know, like, I have God in me, but they refuse to utilize the term God when referring to themselves. And for me, I feel as though goddess is knowing that you have God within you, and that also makes you a god slash goddess. So it's having knowledge of self and realizing that you have the universe inside of you. So because we both just kind of heard the term goddess being referred to the Black woman just recently, we realized that there was like a niche of Black women out there that probably don't even have that same knowledge that we have in
Mm-hmm.
terms of being a goddess. Like, we call our sisters queen all the time, like, yes, queen. Like, we use that term a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but it's still very rare to call another Black woman a goddess. But when you call another Black woman a goddess, it's not the same as calling them a queen.
Yep.
It's not the same as just saying Black woman. So basically this podcast is just supposed to be that, that conversation for goddess to goddess about the experience of a goddess. And the first thing that you'll realize when you embark on this goddess spiritual journey is that your vibe attracts your tribe.
Say it again.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
One more again.
Your vibe attracts your motherfucking tribe. Okay? And if that's not facts, listen. It's facts.
Period. We feel like it's important to remove certain energies from your life in order to attract your tribe. And for some, that's easier said than done because they might have codependency issues or, might be attached to the time spent with somebody. But when you really are serious about your spiritual walk, you really take the time to evaluate the people around you and really pay attention to how they affect your life. And sometimes that means removing people,
places, and things.
I'm high. Okay.
So when you start to take on the title of goddess, you'll realize that literally changes your entire lifestyle. Like it forces you to be more intentional about the people that you keep around you, about the foods that you eat, about the things that you do, the type of music that you listen to. It really forces you to be intentional about the way that you carry yourself. So with that being said, you start to realize that certain people ain't for you. Certain foods ain't for you.
Okay.
Certain things just ain't for you, okay? Which means that you got to start removing that toxicity out of your life. Like when I think about it, it's kind of like going to a new school and certain, like you, the new kid on the block, right? And you have certain people that gravitate towards you, and then you have that other set of school kids that look at you like, who this bitch think she is? But then you have the ones where you walk into the lunchroom and you look around like, where am I going to sit at? And you have that table that's like, you can come sit with me. That's your vibe attracting you to those people. That's how you start to walk through life. So that's why it's important to have that knowledge of self, because you start to realize who's for you and who's not for you.
Yes. And you have to be confident enough to walk in your truth and know that everybody is not for you. Because if you don't, you're going to constantly try to people please.
True.
And you're not going to be happy. Like, wouldn't you want to be yourself with the people that you spend the most of your time with?
And the funny thing about that is I feel like it's so much easier said than done, because I'm pretty sure that we can both attest to having those stories of where we lost certain friends, we lost like certain relationships didn't last, or we had to we had to just start moving different, doing things different, talking different, because we realized that the person that we was before wasn't exactly who we was. It was a result of the people that we carried ourselves around.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I can definitely relate to that personally, because I just recently had a group of friends, or so I thought they was a group of friends and business partners who literally just slipped out of my life. Like, one of them drastically left, made her grand exit. And the other one literally just disappeared off the face of the fucking earth. Like, I ain't hear not a word, not a, I no longer want to be a part of this, not a, hey girl, things not working out. I mean, just just disappeared off the face of the earth. Shit, for all I know, she could be dead. But after that happened, after that happened, I started reconnecting with women that I had either, probably known from the past, or I just started attracting new females, or I hate calling women females. I don't even know why I just said that. But the thing about this goddess journey is that you're gonna have your slip ups, and that's that old you that's like every now and then it slips out of you. But anywho, so you have those women that, like, I had those women that I started attracting, and they were different from the type of women that I was used to hanging around. So I knew that because I had changed my mindset, I changed my lifestyle, started carrying myself like a goddess, as if I had knowledge of self. And I started attracting other women that did too, which leads me to, why this podcast was so important for us to make. And the ironic part about me co-hosting this podcast with Imani, which I think speaks power to your vibe attracting your tribe and you living authentically, because a lot of times when you're not living authentically, you are surrounded by other women that also are fake as fuck too.
Okay.
Girl, speak on it.
Speak on it.
When you're in the show.
Okay.
Listen.
I mean, we basically shared the same story when it comes to that situation. The only difference is because your vibe attracts your tribe, I was able to reconcile with my situation. But we'll talk about that in another episode.
Another thing that I want to talk about while we're touching on this subject, because, one thing that we really want to pride ourselves on with this podcast is rawness, being real, because we did say candid, right? So we're going to get real and we're going to get raw and we're going to be transparent, because just as, I have the platform that allows you to express yourself freely, and Simply Soul Sisters gives you the tools to get grounded with yourself, to even have the courage to share your story freely. It really speaks to why it's important to embark on that journey. And removing that toxicity out of your life, it's kind of like putting on a mask, and then when you take the mask off, like your pores feel like extracted. Like and it feels so good. It's like, it's like your face is literally breathing.
Right, because you live with that mask for.
I'm saying you live with that fucking acne forever. You've just been living with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it is, because they're energy suckers. These people, these things are energy suckers. Like, the friends are energy suckers because you didn't even feel free enough to be yourself. The boyfriend, the girlfriend was an energy sucker because she didn't even give you the courage to walk your path as you saw fit. Because that's what our partners are, right? They're just there to be a partner, but not necessarily to provoke us into being something that we are not. So, and the other thing is, like, being conscious of your space, like not being able to live in filth, not like just being conscious of the things that are within your room, even the colors. Like, it's crazy how much stuff actually affects your energy. And you start realizing how toxic that shit is, so you can like remove it from your life so that you can really walk in that goddess walk, because goddesses walk different. Okay, they do. Like, your aura speaks loud and proud. It shines bright.
It's levels to this.
It really is. And you even start realizing that you attract different men. Like, when I was younger, I think it was the immature version of myself that, when I was younger, boys used to say stuff like, I treat her like she treats herself. And the thing is, like, I call her a hoe because she whatever. And when I was younger, I personally felt like that's some bullshit. But as I age and I realized the type of men that I've attracted in the past, like 5 years ago compared to now, it really goes to show that, yes, you definitely do attract different men. And yes, the men that you attract are going to be a reflection of who you are. So that man that's approaching you like, what up, queen? Hey, goddess, versus, hey, yo, shawty. You know what I'm saying? Them dudes don't even talk to you no more. Like, I don't even remember the last time a man was like, hey, shawty in the blue dress.
Yeah, no.
But I used to have that. I used to get that shit every day. Hey, yo, black. You know what I'm saying? That shit's crazy, but it's so true when you think about it.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Like, are we trying to tell you this? How real
whoever
that shit
the
is.
people that you're associated with, they are a mirror image of you. And some people, they're gonna mirror the dark parts of you, your shadow side, and things that you need to work on. But it's up to you to pay attention to the lessons learned, not stay attached. Just understand that everything happens for a reason. So
facts. And with that, I want to, like, I'm going to personally speak to my own experience, like the things that I did that pretty much helped me to be able to remove that toxicity from my life and walk in my true, my true goddess walk. You know what I'm saying? That like, when I think of a goddess walking, I automatically see, like, you remember that Aaliyah video? That movie that Aaliyah was in, when she had the crown on, and her eyes, like, what was the movie? Her eyes were like bluish, like white, remember. And she had that shield, like, bodysuit on, and the way she, like, it's a gift. Like, if you look up Jiffy, and she was just walking, like, swaying, like, looking like a fucking queen goddess. That she is. Like, that's what, when I say a goddess, like, that's what she looks like. She looks like that. Even though, like, Aaliyah was definitely a goddess. That's a fact.
I mean, that's like the picture in my head, though, when I walk around. And I feel like that's how you should walk around at all times.
Yeah, it's kind of like when people would tell you, like, oh, you smelling yourself? No, smell your fucking self.
I do. I smell, yes. Okay, because I smell like body butter and oils and...
No, seriously, like, they say, oh, you smelling yourself, as in, like, oh, you think you all that. But no, like, Black women were never taught to feel themselves. We were never taught to acknowledge ourselves as being the most beautiful woman in the world. Exactly. We were never taught that, to be confident, to have knowledge of self.
And it goes even deeper than that. The thing is, the health and wellness industry basically has been, and I'm going to say it, it's been whitewashed. So basically what I'm really trying to say is, when you said that Black women, they weren't taught to see the beauty in themselves, they also weren't taught how to tap into the divine being that is them. Mm-hmm. You have to connect to your higher power, or you're not going to find yourself. You're going to constantly be vibrating on low energy because you're not trying to figure out how to vibrate high.
It's kind of like, when I was younger, I didn't realize what I was saying, but I used to say stuff like, oh, I love her vibe. Like, she got a dope vibe. Or, I don't like his vibe. Like, I don't like your vibe. Like, her vibe seemed kind of off. And the thing is, like, people's vibes really do be off because they vibrate at a very low frequency, which that reflects onto other people. It's kind of like somebody walking up to you smiling, and even if you're not really feeling like smiling, like, you will, even if it's a small peak of a smile, that smile will come out. It's because we literally, energy is contagious.
And we've been programmed to be tensed and stressed. And we think doing things like yoga is, oh, that's white people shit. No, that's actually our people shit. We invented the shit. They just whitewashed it, like I just said. And we're going to
talk about that white people shit on another episode, too, because I hate that. I hate that. Okay. But the thing is, when you become a goddess, you realize, you start to learn that a lot of the things that we were taught to look at as only things that people of superiority do, we realize that no
We invented
wonder
it.
we were motherfucking like living the way we was living. No wonder we was going through what we was going through. No wonder we was looking how we was looking. You know what I'm saying? Like, no wonder. It all made sense now. And that's why it's like I really am proud of our community, because so many of us are embarking on this journey, this knowledge of self, and realizing that a lot of things that were forced upon us were actually a tool utilized to push us as far away as possible from the very things, the very resources, the very knowledge that we are gods and goddesses, that we are kings and queens, that we are originals.
And
Go ahead, yeah.
it's so simple once you tap into it. Like, some people think it's just like so complicated and you gotta, you know, read a whole bunch of books and know a whole bunch of terms. And I mean, you do if you want to take it there. If you want to take it there, but it's really simple.
And the crazy thing about it is simple, but we don't even realize that what's actually complicated is being the way that we become, because of the fact that we had to be brainwashed to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, this comes natural. Like, once you tap into that God within you, and you actually tapped in, you realize that it's so much easier. Like, it feels so much better. Like, you literally feel liberated, and you feel much more closer to knowing who you are as a person than you did before, when you were trying to force yourself to be a different way. Now, that's what's complicated. It's complicated to walk around with a fucking poker face. It's complicated to be mad and angry all the time. It's complicated to keep a frown on your face. You know what I'm saying? It's complicated to try to mask your hair from its natural state. It's complicated to you know, to try to mask your body, your face, or all of these different things from being in its natural state. Putting clothes on is complicated. We were born in the nude. Like, our bodies didn't become sexualized until like this past, like, when, you know what I'm saying, when we arrived to America. And that was only because Master had, you know, was flattered when he saw what Mama was working with. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, the truth is, the life that we have become accustomed to is what's complicated, which is why it took decades to instill that in us. And then you got the Stockholm syndrome and all of those different things, because our people, as time progressed, our people became distanced themselves further and further and further and further away from what they were, because as time goes by, and like they say, when you don't use it, you lose it. And that's exactly what happened. But you know what? Our community,
we here,
yes,
baby. We here.
The goddess gang has checked in,
because we are not gonna drop the ball. Our ancestors have checked in. We are tuned in. I don't know about you, but I've been seeing master numbers every single day.
Every day
since I tuned in.
Facts.
And
every day.
Yeah, we're gonna tap into this. You're gonna tap into this, and we're gonna spread it so that it does not get lost.
Facts. It began with us, and it is going to end with us as well, which is why the Dear Goddess podcast is here, and we want y'all to embark on this journey with us. Stick around, because this is the very first. As you guys know, when we start anything, it gets better as time has progressed.
Yes.
So definitely continue to rock it out with us, and you guys will be hearing more from Goddess D and
Goddess Blaze.
And we are so excited that you guys stuck around and listened to this part of the podcast. Come back for the next episode, which is going to feature someone that is very similar to us, like our soul sister, who I know will have a lot to say, and that would be a very valuable episode. Like, we're going to spill some tea for y'all.
We're going to keep it all the way real. Okay.
We're going to spill the tea. So, Goddess Gang checking out. You can say something. Listen, I was just saying, like, Goddess Gang checking out. You can say something real. He was high as fuck on that whole episode, bro.
Yeah.
And it showed.
I can't smoke.
I'm gonna leave that in there. Girl. Make sure you guys subscribe to both of our websites.
Yes, definitely.
Follow us on the gram. Make sure you check out the show notes for any details that we talked about in this podcast. It will all be in the show notes. This episode.
Yes, definitely sign up to join Goddess Gang on simplysoulsisters.com. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
I can't be successful without it. Listen to what I'm trying to say. I let go my old ways. Gotta figure out how to make 150K.
Bye, girl. I'm hanging up.